Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I seek the opportunity to make a contribution on this bill, and in doing so indicate that Labor supports the passage of this bill, but we do, in the first instance, support the amendments moved by the Shadow Minister for Trade. Mr Deputy Speaker, we've heard on many occasions in this place the importance of trade to this country. At the end of the day, Mr Deputy Speaker, we are a trading nation, and hence why we are supportive of this Trans-Pacific Partnership. I might point out, Mr Deputy Speaker, we on this side of the House were supportive of the last iteration of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. We saw benefits at that stage, whilst it may appear limited benefits in the initial instance. We were certainly attracted by the fact that the Trans-Pacific Partnership had a series of side agreements attached to it, which went to matters of human rights. It went to matter of labour rights and also preservation of the environment. Now, these were things we thought were very instructive to have in trade agreements, and hence why we were very much supportive in the first instance. Mr Speaker, we're pleased on this occasion that this iteration of the TPP actually embodies many of those aspects that were formerly in respect to the initial Trans-Pacific Partnership. We think it is right that obligations, not only in respect to trade, but obligations in relation to how labour is treated, how the collectivism of negotiations is respected, and indeed how the environment is treated by each of our trading partners. I've got to say that I think there should be greater scope for the enforceability of these particular requirements, because at this stage it is only the signatories to the Trans-Pacific Partnership that have any enforcement ability in relation to those matters, and presumably much of that will get down to diplomatic consideration before any effort is taken. We're also concerned, Mr Deputy Speaker, about the investor-state provisions. Now, Labor's concern about that is not just in relation to the TPP. The Minister at the table will recall that these were matters that were raised about the Australia-China Free Trade Agreement. Matter of fact, every free trade agreement we've had has very much had the central theme as looking about the issue of the investor-state provisions. These are things that we are not entirely comfortable about, and would seek appropriate recourse with Labor if Labor forms the next government in this country. And just to explain, Mr Deputy Speaker, we would have a concern where we are opening up our court systems for the enforceability of actions against not only Australian companies but the Australian government. As a matter of fact, all governments of Australia, state as well as local governments, to actions by foreign institutions, and we do that simply because of their signature of their countries to this Trans-Pacific Partnership. Although on this occasion I note the only country where it will be extended to, beyond those which already have investor-state provisions afforded to them, is Canada, which is probably of lesser concern to us, given the formation of their laws being a common law development, much the same as Australia. Mr Deputy Speaker, we collectively in this House focus on trade because we know that trade is the ability for us to create jobs in this country. There will be certain challenges to that. The transitional arrangements must be such that we limit the amount of the impediment to existing industries and those workers. But the simple fact is, if we are going to be a trading nation, we must be able to do so on the basis of our strengths. And the strengths that we have in this country, Mr Deputy Speaker, actually is our people That's where we do excel. And we need to ensure that we properly resource not only our industries, but we resource the training of our people, whether through our tertiary institutions and, in many instances, TAFE, to ensure that we have our people on a very competitive footing so we can actually trade profitably with other countries within our sphere of influence. Mr. Speaker, this is something that we on our side of politics have been very clear about, whether it's the funding of schools, the funding of universities, and in particular the funding of TAFE colleges. We think TAFE, by the way, is the backbone for enhancing our ability to trade more effectively throughout the region. Mr. Speaker, I'll leave my comments there at this stage. As I say, I support the amendments made by the Shadow Minister for Trade. We think that they are sound. I think that if his amendments are accepted, would make the TPP a better trading instrument than it currently being proposed in this bill. However, I do say that it is in our interest that we facilitate free trade within our region. We will be the ultimate benefit for that, provided we invest appropriately, and particularly where we invest in our people.
The question is that the amendment be agreed to. The honourable